teammates listen to this. Oh shit! Oh shit! Is that on the season two?
Yo,
Oh shit! I was dying, bro.
bro, did you see that shit, Aiden?
No, I didn't see it.
Bruh.
Mason, I'm not gonna lie to you. Minecraft is better than Breath of the Wild.
I wouldn't get mad at you for saying that. I wouldn't get mad at somebody
Yeah.
for thinking that.
Yeah.
Although it's not true, but like I won't get mad at you for saying that.
Like I would rather play Zelda, like than play Minecraft. That's because I'm just not, used to that boring type of shit.
Relax.
If
You
I,
can
I
ask
would
whatever kind of question you want, bro. Whatever.
Alright, but I made it up though, so I already wrote this down. So it's like, if you could change one point in history besides slavery, what would you change?
Slavery. I love how you have to put that besides slavery.
Besides slavery, I wouldn't even change slavery.
Damn. May I ask why?
Dang.
Because nigga, we've come so far as the black community, bro. Imagine. I'm not saying this is like 1-to-1 proportion. You know what I'm saying? This is like a not a good offset. But I'm saying if there was no slavery, we wouldn't be saying nigga. Just think
Is
about
that such a bad thing?
That's why I
That's
said.
such a bad
That's
thing?
why I said it's not a 1-to-1 offset. But like, just think about that. But
What?
like on some real shit. I feel like we've come far as like the black community and shit. Like through like racism and
So you're saying that you wouldn't
slavery.
change slavery because
Because of how we progressed, bro. I literally prefaced that statement with saying it's not a 1-to-1. God
Mdog5.
damn.
That was the most outrageous claim I've heard for you. That's more outrageous than Splatoon. Saying Splatoon was good, bro.
We're not gonna take it. We're not gonna hear act like you didn't just say that. Mason. You literally just said.
That's the most outrageous.
I'm saying this for the 4th time now. It is not a 1-to-1 offset.
I don't know what the
But-
fuck that means.
That was
but
the
what-
craziest Mdog5 take I've heard,
What is
But
bro.
I'm just saying,
It's
nigga.
not a one-on-one offset. What does that mean, nigga?
Like
Explain that.
it's not proportional. Like obviously I wouldn't fucking like obviously slavery.
You wouldn't trade
the
slavery
best,
for the
Yeah,
N-word.
the benefit of slavery was fucking us being able to say the N-word. That was a joke.
That was the wildest take you've ever heard from you, Mdog, bro. Like what? Wait,
So wait,
what
so
was
why
your
would-
argument? Because you came a long way.
As the black community, yes. And we would have no like that's like slavery, like a lot of our history is based on the fact that slavery happened.
That's like saying that we got a job and we just got promoted.
Huh?
It's basically what you're saying with slavery. Like you're
How?
saying that we.
That's like saying
That's like saying like, yeah, we came from a long way from being a slave. We came a long way from evolving from a slavery.
Mdog5. That's like
Fighting for
freaking.
our freedom.
It's like being rich after coming up from the gutter. That would have been a better comparison.
No. It's like, all right. Imagine everyone else had jobs, right? And that's like saying, oh, well, we didn't have a job for these X amount of years, but now we do have jobs like everyone else does, and now we are getting promoted. So I think we should change the past.
No. It's like saying, okay, we didn't have a job and everybody else had a job, and through that I was able to fucking have huge historical figures. I was able to make progress within the fucking world, and now it shows, it attests to how far I've become even greater. Like you can't look at a white person and say, oh, you've come farther than me as a whole, holistically, as a race.
So you're saying that like every time a white person looks at a black person, they should acknowledge that they came far from being a slave, like their ancestors.
Bro, how did we get?
I gotta look at this.
Yeah, wait, where'd you get that
How
from?
how did we get there? Fuck.
Where did you get that from, ElSavvy? You lost me with that one, bro.
You said like when you look at a white person, what did you say?
Like no white person is gonna say, oh, I've come so far. Like my race has come so far in the human society. Not in the same way as like a black person.
So you're saying
Like we've definitely made more progress. Like not maybe not in terms of building the world, but like as a community, as like we definitely come farther than a lot of other like most other races as a black race. Like we came from being slaves to being seen as like property to like being the backbone of a lot of this shit that was going on in this country without being seen as
I mean,
human. And now look at us, my nigga.
I guess, but I feel like you can make the same argument for like a couple of races.
Well, sure, like Chinese people, but they still have like their shits. Like they still got to progress. Like they're still not good over there in China. Not like how we have it.
Wait, this is not a race, but wait, Jewish people are not race, right? They're a freaking religion. So, but
Yeah.
so I guess yeah.
They've also come far, but I wouldn't say Jewish people have come like as far as the black community, or like as like African
Yeah.
Americans probably. They've definitely come far, but like there's still. I mean, I don't know. There's not as many Jewish people as like black people, so they don't have like the merit to go as far.
Why would you just rather not have
Yeah.
slavery not happen and then have
Yeah.
us like do great stuff in the world, like building stuff and all this
Because
stuff, like an
we would have never
empire?
had any individuality as a community if slavery never happened. There'd be nothing significant about being
Uh,
black.
I
That's
mean,
that's
that's
incorrect. I
not.
feel like.
Yeah, bro. I don't feel like
How so?
slaveries are.
Like,
I will.
oh,
I will.
I have a black owned business. Like that's like if slavery never happened, what the fuck is the point of saying you have a black owned business? Like what?
Bro, owning a business in
Systemic
general is a
racism?
good thing
Exactly.
to
You
be
shouldn't be
happy
no.
over.
I wouldn't even if
Like
I want
if
to like put. I want to put black owned business on my black owned business. You know, I would rep my black owned. I wouldn't want that to be like what people know me for because my business is black and because I have a good business and it's black. You should support me.
but
Like
like
I
I
don't
want
want to.
people
a
to
lot
know
of
my
people do.
business based on like how good my business is, not
Yeah.
because of I'm black, you
But
know.
a
Yeah.
lot of people
It's,
still do that regardless. That's where the term black owned business comes from because people do that.
well, I don't think people should do that. Like black, I know black people are big like proprietor in doing that. Like I don't think like I see the intention, right? But I also think it's like separating black businesses from other businesses, like saying like it's like a different category, which I think is kind of weird. Like I don't think you should judge a business based on who owns it or the color of the skin, but like who owns it. Like you should judge it based on the content of their business. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but also it might have something to do with the fact that like systemically the black owned business like might not or like I don't know because like we've been redlined like systemic racism obviously plays a part in how
So
black people usually and then also like you want to market your products to certain things so like for me like when I get hair products and I'd feel more comfortable getting like my hair products from a black owned business because they know they probably are more inclined to have like the good shit. You feel me? Like with my hair, like I'm not gonna
I
put
guess,
fucking suave, whatever the fuck that shit is in my hair, nigga. Like
but it's like I feel like you would still have that without slavery. It's like slavery is our roots. You know, it's like
I say,
if you if you
it's
get
the forefront of like the progress we made as a community.
so you're saying that you wouldn't change slavery because we made progress from slavery.
Like significant progress as a community.
Mm.
Like I'm not saying that it wasn't a terrible thing that probably should not have happened, but I wouldn't like that's just my mindset. Like, oh, something bad happens to you, like, oh, it should have never happened. Like, no, like I fucking live and I grow because those things have happened from like to me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like say your girl cheats on you, my nigga. Like yeah, you're gonna be bad, you're gonna feel sad or whatever. But I don't like walk away from that experience, and not to equate like somebody cheating on me with slavery, but like still like that's just my mindset. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I wish she never cheated on me. Like no, like I'm glad you cheated on me because I've learned a lot more about you, a lot more about myself, and probably a lot more about life based
Okay,
on
I'm gonna
that.
rephrase the question.
I think
I feel like in history, I'm talking about like in history, like a big event. Like say you could change a big
yeah,
event. Like I'm
but
not
just to
talking
say
about like
something,
yeah, I'm not talking about
I
like
don't know what.
your bitch fucking like someone and all
All
of
right,
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah. All right, just to make a statement based on what Mason just said, I feel like you could be glad, like you can be glad about the benefits about like something, right? Like you can be glad about the benefits of having your girl cheating on you. Like for example, like you just get stronger, like you learn how to move different. Like for example, for slavery, like the way we've come so far. But I don't think that entails you being glad that that thing like occurred. Like for example, I can make the same argument
Well,
like, for my
okay,
mom passing away.
that's fair, but I'm not glad that if you're drawing a parallel to slavery, I'm not glad that it happened, but I can recognize that as like holistically as a community, as black people, we've come a far way, and without slavery, we probably wouldn't have had like a lot of our culture, a lot of our history, like it just would not have been as significant.
I mean,
For real.
Like
what
our
culture would we
So
ancestors
have?
died for us to be able to do this. Like my nigga, if we didn't have slavery, like who the fuck would care about our ancestors and what they died for?
I mean, we wouldn't know. Like, no one would know.
well, I
Like,
mean,
honestly, we would still be in Africa. I guess you could say.
Yeah, like if slavery never happened,
I feel like
eh,
just say that. To just say that, it's like you already know our future and that you can't like progress without white people. It's pretty much what you're saying.
mm,
how? How does that?
Because you're saying that slavery is what brought our progression and is our culture. It's like it's it's like you can't separate slavery from our culture.
You can't.
we could have a different culture. We could have a better culture theoretically
Yeah,
if
but
slavery
you're
never
saying like
happened.
We
you're saying like
could, but
without
then we
slavery, you're
also
saying like
couldn't.
you're pretty much saying like you're doing it because if we didn't have slavery, then we would have no like progression, bro. You're literally saying our culture is all based off of slavery.
Not progression. Period. It would just look completely different. Like there would be no significance to
What's
our
wrong with
progression.
but what's wrong with it being different though? Like I am understand.
Like different. How? I mean, like I
You,
guess
you don't
there's
even know you don't even know the different. You don't even know what different
no.
is.
I don't
Like
understand what you're asking.
I'm asking. Okay, it's crazy because the question not even. This is not even the question. This is not even the question. That's the crazy thing.
We just had a hot take, bro. We just jumped off of that.
Hey, this is why we have the podcast. You feel me?
But yeah, all I'm saying is you're saying that slavery, right? You wouldn't change slavery because it's part of our progression, right?
Yeah.
So say you take slavery away and it didn't happen, you can't progress. And if you do progress, you're not gonna like the way that we progressed.
No. It's
So
so
why
so so we
if
progressed.
there if wait, I'm not finished. I'm not finished.
Good.
If there's progression, no matter what, because literally that's how like the world works. We evolve. Then how like what's different there? I don't understand.
True, that's true. Wait, can I just add something onto that real quick?
Good.
I think Mason's looking at it proportionally. It's like from where we started to where we are now, proportionally, we have evolved like at a crazy rate compared to like other races. But like what me and ElSavvy, like how we're looking at it is like in the grand scheme of things, if slavery didn't happen, we could be doing like so much other stuff too. Like we can be like doing buildings and like architectural stuff, everything in general that the human race is capable of achieving. We could also be doing that too, just like without slavery. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
you're looking at it like proportionally.
I guess not necessarily proportionally, but I guess basically I'm not saying that we wouldn't progress. Period. But because slavery did happen, right? We progressed in a certain way. If slavery didn't happen, then we would not have progressed in that way. So, for instance, like if slavery never happened, Martin Luther, like slavery didn't happen, then let's say that racism wasn't a thing or a factor in our lives. Probably Martin Luther King wouldn't have existed. Malcolm X, like all these figures that we look up to. They're like there's literally like nothing to individualize our culture in our history if slavery didn't
Would
happen.
be there would be stuff too though
I mean,
to
there would
Yeah,
be
individualize
stuff
us.
maybe, but like
I feel like
how? Like
our
we say we
Look
say
at
all
every
the
other
time
race.
that white people have no culture.
Martin Luther only
No, no,
like
bro.
Martin Luther King was the only thing because slaves were brought into like the United States. Like we there would be no black people in
Every
the United States.
every other race has things that they could be proud of. Like for example, like Asian, like Middle Eastern, whatever you are, you have things that like is like individual to you. That's not gonna be different just because slavery didn't exist for us. Like we
Yeah,
still have our own things.
You're talking about like being an African American, like literally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Africa,
that's
the
the
concept
result
of
of
African
slavery.
American wouldn't exist, but it would be just like straight
And
up like
so and
Africa.
so,
It would just
what
be
would
different.
you have preferred to be like in Africa, or would you have preferred to be in like the most progressive, fucking country in the world, which would not have
I
happened
mean,
without slavery?
Africa has a
With our
freaking.
culture on top of that.
The United States isn't the most progressive country, but because it's like the United States
I
though.
mean,
It's
not in terms of GDP, but like it's probably the
because
best
they.
place to live.
I know, but what I'm saying is like they're not that because of them individually. They're that because of like the people that they took and the I what's the word the materials that they took from other people. Like like they don't have like modern. They didn't make medicine off the United States soil. You know what I'm saying? Like it's trade and a whole bunch of other shit. So I feel like
But
I don't know. Like
they would still be in that
they
position
wouldn't.
without slavery.
The United States wouldn't be where they're at without slavery. Literally, slavery is the reason why like we have like our world today.
Okay. But I mean, I agree with that. But like, if you're talking about trade, then like, the United States could still trade with people without having slavery occur.
Yeah.
Okay, but like I still feel like slavery was a very big like part of why they're so strong today.
We had like a
Probably.
head start with slavery. Probably we had like a head start like economically with human slave trade
But if
too.
we look back in that
Because
time period, they were the most progressive country. They still would have gotten it like by some means. It's just that Africa had like natural resources and shit. Like
Yeah.
for instance,
So
like if they
so
invented
say
medicine and shit, and their population started growing, then they eventually would have had an industrial revolution, and they still would have been like in the same position that we're at today without slavery.
so you're saying
essentially,
so you're saying like Africa wouldn't be say slavery. It's not even my question, but say slavery was like never to happen in Africa, and Africa was left with the resources that we have, and no one like touched it. Or we would like say that Africa was open to trade, right? You wouldn't think like Africa would be as strong as the U.S.
I don't think they'd be as strong as the U.S. No, if slavery
Even
never happened, even with the resources, no, because like probably has to do with the climate of Africa and shit. Like it's harder to survive in Africa than it is to survive in the U.S. So then we would make like certain changes and shit, which is why they were content on like building tents, like hunting fucking deer or antelope with spears and shit. Like that was just their culture. And then during the same time, the U.S. had to like build fucking towns and cities and shit.
yeah, I don't think they would have evolved at a faster rate.
I guess, but I still wouldn't like. I still don't see a problem with like taking away slavery because I feel like even though they wouldn't evolve at the same rate, I don't think that's a good enough reason.
Yeah, I mean, you could still legit like once America gets like to a good spot, they can still like start doing trades and stuff, and then help Africa out,
Like yeah,
or just like countries
slavery.
in general.
Or like if slavery never happened, they still took Chinese people and built the railroads and shit like that.
What do you mean by that? Like
Like
you saying like,
they still would have they probably would have found somebody because they
but
took Chinese people and had them
but
build.
slavery is the like as a whole. I'm not talking about like black people.
I mean, slavery period.
Oh, but
Yeah, I said
slavery
slavery.
occurred over different periods of time,
But
though.
you said yeah, you said like in history
Yeah,
besides
I
slavery,
mean,
like slavery still happens today.
all
I
right,
feel like if you bring up
bro. This
slavery,
not
I
even,
feel
all
like
right,
we
all
know
right.
that we're talking about
Y'all low key changed my
Africans.
question, bro.
Okay.
I didn't even ask the question. All right, this is not my question. I said if you could change one point in history besides slavery, what would you
Wait,
change? Let's get back
so
on topic.
Yeah, we didn't even
wait,
answer the
wait.
question.
just for one last thing. So, outside, were you saying like slavery period? Like, just no one did slaves? Like, just like that wasn't a
I mean,
concept.
I really wasn't saying anything. I was just saying like to the point of him saying that Chinese people, like U.S. taking Chinese people instead of black people. I feel like I was just trying to say like you couldn't make that point. Say if you couldn't make that point.
Okay.
So slavery in the context of like just historical slavery period.
Uh, I guess. But again, this are we still like trying to talk about this?
I mean, yeah, we didn't really talk about the question.
Yeah, we didn't.